area radio stations.
Touchdown, Lakers!
The following is a special presentation of the Grand Valley Sports Network. The road to the GVSU football season starts here. The 2025 GVSU football campaign kicks off August 30th, and we're taking you all the way with the GVSU football road tour presented by Coors Light. Join head coach Scott Wooster and some special guests for a preview of the season to come. Now live on location, here's the GVSU football road tour crew.
And hi again, everybody, and we are 10 days away from the 2025 kickoff of Laker football on the field. Welcome into week 3 of the GVSU football preseason road show, live from Snug Harbor.
Got some juice today.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And we're right here in Grand Haven along the channel. We've got the sun kind of sparkling across the channel there as we talk. Great crowd here enjoying this. Again, our third and final week of the preseason road show. And Coach Scott Wooster alongside. Good to see you. And quite a day. You finished up some situational football.
Absolutely. No, Steve, it's a great day to be a Laker today now. Saturday night had a kind of our training camp scrimmage, and it was a little bit earlier because we're opening on a Saturday, so I think we were 10 practices in, but weren't quite ready to get some of the situational things you just talked about. And so Monday had a great practice, Tuesday, and then today kind of put the wraps on a little bit of those situations and got into end of game scenarios. Did a little second down into third down, and then got into the 2-minute drill, the 4-minute drill, working into overtime. You know, some of the new rules in terms of the 2-point plays, the shootout aspect. So divided the team. We call it the ones versus the world, and love that. Love when we do that, because some of those guys that are hungry for that spot, for that opportunity, know that the depth chart's creating itself right now. Put them on the world team and get their opportunity to go against the ones, and that's what we saw today. Some fantastic, just awesome competition, and guys doing a really good job staying on their feet, really physical, but staying on their feet, and some plays were made. So feel really, really good at who we're becoming and where we're at right now.
Well, the preseason roadshow tour presented by Coors Light, distributed locally by Alliance Beverage. We're here again at Snug Harbor, channel sign in Grand Haven. And tonight, last week it was the defense that we featured. Tonight it is the offense, and we're going to go through grouping by grouping here for you throughout our show. We're going to talk about the schedule here for the Lakers, the interesting little double bye.
That's a good word for us.
Yeah, at the end of September. You'll fill us in on that. And then as we go here, we'll just continue, as I say, that the rest of this week and then leading into the game, kind of what that's like, because, oh, by the way, classes will start. Yeah. So, you'll have to maneuver through that.
19,000 undergrads coming onto campus, right?
Yeah.
Movement started today, and the chaos begun. So, no, some external stimuli is a good way to put it, right?
There you go.
And I like that word you use, interesting. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but remember the episode with the baby where he said it, breathtaking, right? The ugly baby, breathtaking.
Right,
it's just a neutral word to describe maybe a challenging situation.
Yes.
So, interesting double bye week. I like how you put that. Steve, that was pretty good.
Well, we'll talk more about it as we go. Tonight, of course, we're live on LAV and the Grand Valley Sports Network, and on YouTube at GVSU Lakers. So just check that out as we go tonight and after the fact as well. We'll be right back. We'll talk about camp third weekend, what's going on. Also look back on the scrimmage for the Lakers and what that was like, and then the schedule, as mentioned. That's coming up after this break. This is the GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow presented by Coors Light here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
GVSU Football Radio Road Tour leading up to the season opener in Allendale on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Third and final week of the GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow. We began in Standale a couple of weeks ago, downtown GR last week, Bridge Street, and out here in Grand Haven tonight at Snug Harbor, just by the channel for you. Steve Lloyd-Jones, Scott Wooster back with you as we talk Laker football and camp in its third week. Now, as you got through Wednesday, we're going to go into that a little more detail. Remember, in this segment, we're going to talk about how the scrimmage went for Grand Valley and the schedule as well. But a chance for some situational football, which, you know, nobody really thinks about that until the situation in the game, and then they expect you guys to all be organized. Well, that's not an accident, is it?
No. And you talk about discipline, right? The preparation, the training, and a lot of it is just that you're watching football games, and yeah, we're coaches, but there's also that fan element. And I love watching now, particularly as a head coach, like end of game situations, right? They talk about NFL, they got that red zone package, but you get end of game scenarios, and again, be the best when it means the most. Those situations make and break games, but make and break seasons, right? So trying to get our guys just that feel, you know, at the end of the day, the signal's in, the call's made, and you go execute that call, right? Yeah. But the ability to, I've been in this position before, I've been in this situation, I know what to kind of expect, right?
Well, and you get the chance to do that, and so you do it with starters, with everybody on the roster, right? So everybody's ready. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no question. And like I said, we separate the roster into our projected ones right now, and then we call everyone else is on the world, right? Grand Valley versus everybody, some of those deals that people talk about, but ones versus the world. So again, it's one thing to have your ones in those situations, the guys that have been playing, but you get into week 7, week 8, week 9, and we know the game of football, a little bit of attrition, and now you're down to that 3, you're down to that 4, but they've had those opportunities to prepare as well, right? So trying to create that depth, but get as many guys in these situations, to be the best when it means the most situations as we can.
So you have a lot of time in training camp for those, Scott. How much during the regular season do you get to actually work on?
Yeah, and a normal practice week, you're practicing our base calls, call it choice down, the first and second down calls. You get into third down, you get into red zone. Typically, you'll do a goal line period, a short yardage period. You'll do a 2-minute drill, if not every week, every other week. But there's some of those things like overtime, 2-point plays. You'll practice a couple of them every week, keep that inventory fresh, but you don't get a chance to really scrimmage it, right, and get in and out of those situations. You'll go down to the goal line and do a couple 2-point plays, but you're not working overtime into a 2-point play, right?
Got it.
A 2-minute drill, you get offense, defense out there and do a 2-minute drill during the season. But today we did what we call our 5-minute drill, where one team is up, they're in a 4-minute, they're trying to take time off the clock, right? If they get the stop, defense gets the stop, we punt it to the offense. Now they're in a 2-minute drill, they got a must score to win the game, right? So just in and out of those situations, and obviously defense understanding offensively, hey, we got to get them as much time as possible. When do we use the timeout? And part of it's for us as coaches too. A lot of that today, I was flipping back and forth with Coach Lewis, Coach Shoemaker about some of those situations. When would we call the timeout? Right? Do we use all the timeouts on defense? Offensively, you can stop the clock in some situations. So it really helps us too, right? We're preparing ourselves in situational football as well.
Yeah, and having a lot of continuity with your coaches helps, doesn't it?
No question. And experience, right? Got 2 coordinators that have done it at an extremely high level for a long time. So, all those things working together.
Well, I know you wanted to say some thank yous too for camp. But
It's that time of year, right? Tomorrow we'll have practice and then kind of break camps, transition into game week. But we had that scrimmage Saturday night, and it was awesome, right? Had people there. Kim Schmidt got a huge tailgate going, and we probably had more people at that scrimmage than I had my senior year homecoming. Said that a couple times, but it's just the energy that was in Lover Stadium and external relations, marketing, communications, all the way throughout camp. The content they're putting out, Josh, Kenley, Tim Knott, Brent, Zach's here, Malik, everybody that is part of this. This morning we go scrimmage, and we got the video board on. We're pumping noise in there, and there's energy energy in Lubber Stadium, and that is special. That's special. Yeah. And the social media, if you're going to follow on IG and Twitter, some of the content that's getting put out there is amazing. Our equipment managers here at every road show, E.T. and his crew, keeping our guys, his lovely bride, keeping our jerseys sewn up, right? She's working late into the night, keeping us looking good. Our training staff, too. You talk about 7 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. during camp, and Jim and Emily and Layla working those 14, 16-hour days, getting up, and they're actually in there at 6 a.m. With the crew, getting them ready for practice, at our walkthroughs, at everything. So, talk about taking a village, talk about what makes Grand Valley State special. There's a lot of people here tonight, but it's so many people that make Grand Valley State so special, and it made this camp special, right? And
no doubt.
It is. There's a tremendous attitude of gratitude, and it really, really hit me today because, it's a 10 a.m. practice, and we got our marketing external relation team out there making it as game-like as they possibly can. So it's a great day to be a Laker, like I said, every day is, but it really hit me today how special it is.
Great teamwork. Well, the scrimmage on Saturday, you got a chance to learn some things about your team, which is the whole purpose of that. The lights come on, you can see how guys, react to it, and can build on that and teach. Tell us more about what you found out.
Yeah, and that's the big reason for that scrimmage, right? And especially now in the nature of college football, and we've talked about this in the last couple of radio shows, the fluidity. We're a younger football team than we've been in a long time. We've played with a lot of juniors and seniors the last few years, and now we're going to be playing with a lot of those redshirt freshmen, a couple of those true freshmen. We'll be out there in Lubber Stadium this fall, right? They just had prom a couple months ago, and now they're out there making those plays. But I'll tell you, like the scrimmage piece of it from last Saturday, we started in this what we call second down, play the results. So we have a second down scripted, and then we get in and out of these third down situations. If we get the first down, play with a little tempo. Some of the things that we want to do offensively, defensively. Felt like that was very back and forth. Offensively made a few plays, defensively made a few plays. And then essentially we just put the ball down and drive the football, right? Opening drive of the game, something, kind of simulating that effect. And we threw an interception on the first play. Got a little pressure, threw off the back foot, defense. Josh Anderson makes a great play. And I felt like defensively started to build confidence off of that, right? And momentum in sport, right? Momentum in sport and, dictating momentum. And I felt like the defense continued to dictate the momentum and build on that. Offensively, we never kind of snapped back and responded to that. A 3-and-out, another interception. So you really learn in those situations, right? We're going to throw interceptions this year, right? Guys are going to get hurt. Bad things are going to happen. We're going to give up some touchdowns. How do you respond to it? And it was an amazing learning opportunity that next day. Get it on the tape and show the response. And the coolest part about our football team is that Saturday night, Sunday we watch the tape, Monday we get out there and practice, and we had those opportunities. Offensively, ripped a big run, explosive play. Defensively, next play, it was a tackle for loss. There was a disruption. We threw another interception, and then came right back the very next play and threw a touchdown, right? So that response that we didn't have maybe Saturday night, we saw that on Monday, right? And that's the growth, right? The growth mindset is, you're gonna learn through failure more than success a lot of times, right? And then there's this, you got to respond to success too, right? Continue to build on that. So really, really excited about that response. Not in the moment Saturday night offensively, but it took a day. But the growth of our football team from Saturday night, particularly on the offensive side of the football, to Monday was tremendous.
Well, and that's what camp is all about, isn't it?
Growth.
Work through those kind of moments. We're at Snug Harbor here, Channel Side in Grand Haven. Steve Lloyd-Jones, Scott Wooster. Let's talk about the schedule for Grand Valley this year.
Some of these afternoon charters are coming in.
Well, the schedule
How do you think
here.
they did it? Pretty good.
I've been hearing they're doing great.
I've heard it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Kind of jealous a little bit, right? He's coming back in.
Well,
rides away.
You've got September, actually August 30th, rather, the opener at 1 o'clock. That'll be the kickoff with Lincoln. Then on September 6th, you're going to have Black Hills State. Those two games, of course, at home before the first road game. That'll be a biggie, September 13th at Pittsburgh State here.
Yeah, just in terms of schedule, couldn't have worked out better in terms of getting 2 early home games, right? Week 0, new phenomenon in Division II football, but getting our students back on campus and creating an awesome environment for those 2 first home games. But really, really excited. Get out there in front of Lincoln and bring Lincoln in and get out in front of the Laker Nation and get it going. And trying like crazy not to look too far ahead. Right. Right now we got to finish up camp tomorrow and Thursday's practice and make that transition to Lincoln and keep it on Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
We have a kind of a saying going 1 for 1, everyone wants perfection. Everyone wants to talk about 10-0 and playoffs and national championships and all that. But to do any of that, you got to go 1 for 1, and I heard a story about Steph Curry years ago. He had this streak of free throws, right? I think it was 89. It was a wild number in the NBA. And, he talked about it with his mental performance coach of it started with 1 for 1. He missed a free throw. Well, the next streak starts with going 1 for 1, right? To be 10-0, you got to go 1 for 1. And that's really where the focus is going to be come Sunday. Right now, like I said, it's finishing out camp. Tomorrow we'll have another kind of scrimmage with some of our younger guys and get them running around and having some fun. So that's where the focus is right now. But, schedule-wise, as you look at it, particularly the home schedule early on, getting Davenport, I believe, for Family Day, right?
October 4th.
Yeah. And got a Youth Day, Kids Day. Joe does a tremendous job. Joe out there getting people in Lubber Stadium, and we got Saginaw, the Battle of the Valleys, and have kind of a Kids Day there. So great home schedule. Come on out, particularly that first one, 1 o'clock game. And if the weather stays like this, it's kind of supposed to. It's going to be 75 and sunny, right?
Yeah.
On Saturday afternoon, and then kick on the lights the next week at home. And what a way to kick off the season.
Absolutely. Well, as mentioned, you have the 2 byes the end of September, which is just the way things worked out. But October, as you touched on, October 4th will be Davenport. That's going to be Family Day. October 18th is Kids Day, so that'll be Saginaw Valley State. Then a couple of road games. Finally, in early November 8th, you're going to get Michigan Tech at home, and then November 15th, finish up the regular season against Roosevelt. So briefly, the 2 byes. How does that happen? How does it help you?
How long do we? 6:18. All right. I'm going to say this very politically. Kind of uncharted territory in college football, right?
Yeah.
Division I now has byes throughout the season with the week 0. Division II has a bye. We, for years, had went 11 straight weeks in Division II, right? But with the expanded playoff, even the 1 seed's not going to get a bye in the playoffs. So playing the week 0 game, having a bye, makes a tremendous amount of sense now. But I have talked to quite a few people similar to like bowl prep, right? Because I don't think this has ever happened in college football where you have a back-to-back bye in the regular season. So been on the phone talking to a guy that coached in the Super Bowl, because that's a 2-week bye essentially after the championship games, right? And how do you prepare your team? How much rest, how much work. Talked to a couple people that have played those early bowl games. So your season ends, there's 2 weeks, and now the bowl season, begins in basically the first, second week of December. So just some different concepts of what they did in terms of keeping guys healthy and fresh, keeping the mind right, but also not losing a step and coming back out rusty after that 2-week bye, and just trying to manage and attack that in terms of what is the best way. And we got a really good plan right now. There's been about 17 different scenarios, plan A, B, C, D, all the way through, right? Yeah. And kind of got a couple of really concrete ideas right now, but we'll reassess after those first week 0, week 1, week 2, where we're at and what this team really needs to continue on.
All right, so that's a look at how camp is going, the scrimmage from Saturday, and the schedule for Grand Valley this year as they will kick things off on August 30th, 1 o'clock, that against Lincoln. All right, when we come back, we'll look at the offensive line. Again, the offense in focus tonight as the GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow continues live from Snug Harbor here on LAV and the Grand Valley Sports Network. We'll be right back.
GVSU football is on the road. The 2025 radio tour continues now on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Thanks for joining us tonight, whether it be on the radio airwaves at LAV and the Grand Valley Sports Network or on YouTube, GVSU Lakers. As Steve Lloyd-Jones, Scott Wooster back with you live from Snug Harbor here, Channelside in Grand Haven, third and final GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow, all brought to you by Coors Light, distributed locally by Alliance Beverage. Time to talk about the offense in detail and the offensive line, near and dear to your heart, and this group, guys with experience from past seasons, but now they're a chance to have a much more significant role. Yes. And you have to find the best combination. Talk about that process.
No, and Coach Bell's just a remarkable job. One, we had some transfers out and bringing some guys in, and then just developing the guys that were in the building. And from January till whatever's today, August 20th, just did a remarkable job. Coach Bez has done a great job of recruiting, and then the development piece of it and getting guys going. And then, from Coach Bez, it's Brett Weaver, tremendous leadership. We got a senior offensive tackle that's been playing extremely high level, but the performance on the field almost secondary to the leadership that he's provided and that he is providing. And to have that bell cow, to have that guy that leading the way is everything, particularly up front, right? Particularly up front. But when you ask the question about finding that right combination, I think I've always had this number in my head, like you said, doing this a long time, of you got to find 8 guys, right? 15-game season was what you're preparing to play. There's going to be some attrition, going to be some injuries, going to be some guys missing some time. So I think it's warm and fuzzy and it feels really good. We got these 5 starters, and they're always playing next to one another, and they get this feel because so much of offensive line is the synergy of these 5 working together. We call it the fist, right? 5 individuals stronger together. Well, that guy might not be next to you the entire year, right? So working a couple of those different combinations, and we're in that boat where, if we've got 6, 7, 8 guys playing at a championship level, we'll rotate them in, and we're starting to develop that depth. We're starting to see those guys come along, and like I said, Coach Bell's doing a tremendous job. Brett Weaver being the bell cow, being the leader of that group, has been awesome.
Is it tough to develop physicality in camp when you don't hit as much as you'd like to? How do you do that?
Well, and I think it's just, it's maybe to coin old David Shaw term, and he was a guy that really had a tremendous amount of respect for. He's with the Lions now. I mentioned him the other day, but he was out of Stanford. He called it intellectual brutality, right? Like there's a fine line between tough and stupid, right?
Yep.
And you want to build a tough football team, you need that physical football team, but there's a line that you cross where you're just going to beat them up, and there are going to be some injuries going into the season, all that stuff. So try to really do that with some undulating load, and then just really reinforcing of how we practice and being extremely physical, but being on our feet, right? And everyone wants to see those pancakes and knockdown blocks and everything else. But sometimes, even in a football game, knocking the guy down, well, now where does the ball go? So just playing really smart too, right? Playing physical, but playing smart is a huge part of that.
How much of a change is it for an offensive line if you go from a right-handed quarterback to a left-handed quarterback? The calls and his blind side is now different, of course. Talking about Schuster, who may be the starter, as you go through camp, but how big of a change is that for an offensive line?
Yeah, I think, back in the day, the blind side, right, and the books written and the movies out there, and Lawrence Taylor really revolutionized modern-day football because of the Joe Theismann, like that one hit changed football, and putting the best rusher. Well, in pro football, and now it's trickled down to college football, like there's really talented guys. It's not just the blind side, right? So from a protection standpoint, I don't know if it changes a tremendous amount. We've talked about moving, maybe putting Weaver on the right side because of some of those things, but guys have, they've got rushers all the way across the board, and I think defensively trying to move a guy off a spot or change guys' eyes. So the protection element, I think that was a big thing for a while, but I don't know if it's as big of a deal anymore, just because of people having the ability to balance pass rush.
I think people don't understand how smart offensive linemen have to be. You got to be able to understand something in real time, communicate that, move your feet. You got to be strong, but it's that intelligence piece that is so important.
The intelligence piece, like I said, the intellectual brutality, but the unnatural piece of playing offensive line is probably the most challenging thing, right? Is our body, the reptilian brain. I know that's an outdated, but the idea of it, the fight or flight piece of it, right? Somebody's charging at you, a 300-pound man's charging at you, right? There's two things you're going to do. You're going to stand and lunge into him and punch, or flight, right? Run away. Yeah. And what we're telling our guys to do is retreat off the line to handle all the movement and everything. When a guy's coming, and be patient and wait till he's in arm distance and then strike, right? And the unnatural piece too of, as an offensive lineman, it's the only place in sport where you don't see the ball. Your eyes aren't on the ball, right? You take tennis, you take basketball, baseball, everyone's eyes on the field or the court are on the ball. Everything's happening behind you as an offensive lineman, right? So there's just so many unnatural things about playing the offensive line, right? That fight or flight deal, right? The ball's behind us. We're not looking at the ball. There's just so many unnatural things. And yes, the intelligence part of it, but those are the real challenges of training an offensive lineman, right?
Well, you're trying to find 5 guys to start, but 8 guys for depth. And I know you've had the experience of people playing, and hopefully you progress and move through that and get your 8 as we go here. How long does that take, generally speaking?
In terms of
trying to get the depth.
And particularly at the offensive line, because all those things we just said, the unnatural piece of it, the physicality, right? But the cool part is, and I've always believed this, is you can build offensive linemen, right? Particularly in the game of college football, that freshman wide receiver coming in, that's a wide receiver. There's some innate talent with that, right? Obviously with offensive linemen, there's some measurables, but you can build it too, right? There's a developmental factor of it. And I think right now with transfer portal era, NFL saw this in free agency, and now you're seeing it in NCAA football. that development piece, you got to speed it up, right? Because right when a guy gets to that sophomore, junior year and he's ready, well, it's supply and demand, right? There's such a demand for offensive linemen because go up and down the hallway of a school. Go to Grand Haven. How many 6'6", 270-pound guys are walking up and down the hallway? They aren't, right? So there's a demand for it. So right when that guy gets developed, he's going to have opportunities to go make a heck of a lot of money at a Power 4 school. So we've got to speed up that development. And that's where, like I said, the leadership of Brett Weaver, Coach Bez, getting that going. And we got a redshirt freshman out at right tackle right now that's having a heck of a camp, Evan Curtis. We got a couple of those younger guys, got a couple true freshmen, Lucas Tick, Cam Budget, that have really impressed during camp. Yeah, we got that mix. Kanan Mackey finished the season on an extremely high note. He's playing at a high level. Josh Martin's played a lot of football, and he had a heck of a day today, and he's been playing really well. Josh Sanders really coming around. So some of those sophomores, some of those juniors are really coming along, but the speed of that development has really changed in this game, and this is the place where it probably has the biggest impact on the offensive line.
Interesting. Well, the offensive line, our focus in that segment, skilled players coming up next, but they can't do their job without the great work up front.
No.
And
I got one more guy that. You asked me about a surprise guy last week.
I did.
Or a guy that's really Andy Hartman. Just the development he's had over the last year and a half has just been remarkable. And another guy, James Kent, played a little bit for us last year. He's coming off a knee, but you really see the fire and the hunger in him. So. Yeah, excited about finding that 7-8, and keep on develop to 9 to 10, right?
Yeah,
keep on going.
Yeah, because you know injury is a part of the game as you go. All right, when we come back, we'll look at the running backs and the tight ends for Grand Valley's offense. You're listening to the GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow, our third week of that, right here on LAV and the Grand Valley Sports Network. Back in a moment.
When it comes to your
This is the GVSU Football Radio Road Tour leading up to the season opener in Allendale on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Season opener, August 30th, 1 o'clock. Grand Valley at home against Lincoln. And we'll bring that to you here in the Grand Valley Sports Network. Back with head coach Scott Wooster. I'm Steve Lloyd-Jones. Great to have you with us. Snug Harbor, that's where we are tonight. Channelside in Grand Haven. It's all brought to you by Coors Light, distributed locally by Alliance Beverage. Well, as promised, the running backs and tight ends now. The guys who start to touch the football and get the benefit of the great work up front by that offensive line. Running backs, you got a couple of guys who have had some good experience, battled through some injuries in a couple of cases, and really started to emerge as well. Talking about Woods and Uzma Harper and these guys.
No, so Sion Uzma Harper, right? Every time he's gotten going, there's been that injury, right? The last couple of years, and been super excited about him as a redshirt freshman, sophomore, junior, and let's keep him healthy because when he's going, he's that ideal back. He's
just
big,
glides.
He's smooth, and for the size too, right? He's a big, strong, physical runner, but he's so smooth and complete back, catches out of the backfield, protects all those things. So. Yeah, let's just keep him healthy because, as much as it for Grand Valley State football for him, too, because he's poured a lot into this and want to see him have that great senior year. But the other guy you just mentioned, D. Woods, Derek Woods Jr., he having a tremendous camp, really spring ball, started to see the corner getting turned, and then now in camp he's playing at an extremely high level. And he's had a couple flashes here and there, but it's never just been a really consistent product on tape. And that's what we're seeing right now, and that's really, really cool to see. Kenneth Jones is another guy that all the talent in the world. You've seen it back to Kentucky State when freshman had a breakout game and had a couple of those, but a couple turnovers last year, just a couple of those things that always kind of set him back. But there's been a remarkable growth in maturity and how he's playing. So great change of pace guy because he can really go and kind of lightning in a bottle. And then a couple other guys, local guy, Kellen Russell Dixon, call him KRD. Again, a young guy that really will provide value for us and be on a lot of special teams as well as he's getting his opportunities. And then a guy from right up the street here, Pascal Jolman, has been a really, really, really pleasant, and I don't want to say surprise because he's been that way the whole time, but some of the things that he can do, he's a big physical guy in protection, in lead blocking, but also running the football. He's had a really, really good camp. So excited about this crew, feel like 2-3 guys, but then with Kellen, with Pascal, you got 5 guys and they all complement each other, right? They're all a little bit different. So love that change of pace aspect and different roles that they can provide this offense.
Early in the season or as you go through the first few weeks, do you try to manage the load for each guy to help them ease into that?
Well, the trickle down from the NFL, right, is running back by committee. Yeah. And there's a few special ones in the NFL, Barkley and Derrick Henry. But by and large, you look at the Lions, they got the Thunder and Lightning package back there. And I think that's kind of been pro and college football. And I think as much as managing the load, it's what, the stress you put on the defense, and it's the change of pace, right? That defensive end is, shuffle squeeze, and he's surfing down the line. Well, this guy hits it just a little bit faster, a little bit quicker than this guy, right? And some guys are a little better on the perimeter. Some guys are better between the tackles. Some guys are a little better, the blocking, catching the ball out of the backfield. So as much as it is about load, I think it's putting stress on the defense and having some change of pace and complementary roles as well.
Well, and guys that realize that, the unselfishness comes in, and it's, hey, we're a team, we're gonna get it done. Let's talk about the tight ends. Harrison Unger, part of that group. You really use those guys a lot in the scheme. How are they coming along?
Yeah, and I think for what we do and Coach Shue wants to do, it's the critical part of the offense, and we call it TEU because it's behind them. It's they make this thing go in the run game, in the throw game, and Harry Unger, was a kind of a package tight end last year. We had Drew and Gav, and those guys did so well setting edges and doing all the things they did. And Harry got in there. I think he had more touchdowns than plays. Every time he went in there, he's catching a touchdown. But he's really developing into that complete guy. And he had the sense of urgency, but he was patient. And now it's his time. And the other guy is Evan Furtney, another guy that's kind of been dinged up, been injured, but having a tremendous camp and starting to hear his voice and his leadership. And he has been just awesome. in the red zone. He's just got that knack. Again, kind of that smooth. You talk about Sion, but doesn't look like he's really moving, but he's open, right? Doesn't look like it's super physical, but he's snapping on a guy. So really excited about those two. And then Brett Peterson has played some for us. Obviously, that name in Grand Valley State football. He's got a soft tissue injury right now, but hopefully get him back in the next week or two. We talked about Drake Deshetsky last week at linebacker. We made a position change this week, and he's latched onto it. Colin Buchanan is another young guy that has really shown some flashes, and he's working into it. And then Luke Stanton is another guy that a couple of years ago we made a position change, and he's starting to settle in, and he's done some good things too. So creating some depth there, but Harry and Furt are
nice.
kind of holding down those edges for us right now.
Very nice. That's the running backs and the tight ends for you here for the Laker offense. Into a break right now. We'll be back. We're going to talk about wide receivers and the quarterbacks. That's straight ahead as the GVSU football preseason roadshow rolls on from Snug Harbor. We're channel side here in Grand Haven on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
East of John Ball Zoo.
GVSU football is on the road. The 2025 radio tour continues now on the Grand Valley Sports Network.
Thanks for staying with us tonight. Snug Harbor, that's where we're at tonight. Channel side in Grand Haven. Steve Lloyd-Jones, Scott Wooster back with you. Third and final week of our traveling road show tour. Talking about the Lakers schedule, August 30th, 1 o'clock, the kickoff. That's when Grand Valley will start the season. And you can get your tickets. GVSUFootballTickets.com is where you want to do that. We've got Family Day on October 4th, Kids Day October 18th, and a couple of home games in November. Homecoming on November 8th, and Senior Day will be November 15th as well.
I think I just saw a tweet today that or I don't know if they call it a tweet anymore, right? I saw one of those today that reserve seats sold out for Family Day, big time. Nice. So you better get them for Kids Day. Saginaw, going fast.
Yeah, go fast. Speaking of fast, speed, you got some wide receivers.
If you don't have speed, you're chasing it.
Well, I haven't heard that one before. Yeah. That's good.
They say speed kills now. If you don't have speed, you're going to be chasing it.
But you got to be able to catch it too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd just be track stars. So how do you get these guys ready for the season and talk about what you have there?
Yeah, no, this group, we talked about linebacker on defense in terms of the depth, right? The talent, skill, but the depth. And I think wide receiver is a similar situation on offense. And we've had these guys, Kyle Knott and Cody Tierney, Daryl McJohnson, all these guys that have dominated those games and made so many plays over the last couple of years that we've had a lot of guys just kind of waiting in the wings, right? And we talk about patience, urgency, that dichotomy, that duality, but you got to have both, right? And you get, every time you start to say, I want to go, you got to have some patience, and these guys have, right? Probably leads with Kellen Reed. Everyone knows that name, kind of the IG guy, right? All over Instagram. He's our guy, face of that room, face of the program, and tremendous human being as well as a football player. And he's in the return game. He's made a couple plays, but it's his time to be the consistent, right? That consistent impact at the wide receiver position, and that's the kind of spring kind of camp he's having. He dropped one today, but haven't seen too many of those. He's went up and made those plays, and really excited about that because of the speed, right? Yeah. But I think the thing that he's learned how to do is kind of regulate that and control it. Everything's not a 4-3, right? And he's really learned. And Coach Olson's done a tremendous job with that group, and particularly with him of controlling that. And he's done a great job. Another guy, Sean Bird, in the boundary, the X-receiver.
Yeah, a little bit of a new name.
Yeah. And he was a guy that didn't start really playing football until late. He's an 8-1-0 guy, so old GEC, Hamity Hawk, so near and dear to my heart, but kind of a basketball player all the way through, and then got into football. Fun fact, he's the nephew of Mateen Cleaves, Flintstone from back in the day, but he's had a great spring and a great fall camp. We did a low red zone 1-on-1, 7-on-7, and really concentrated on that on Monday, and just made some plays with some really tight coverage. So excited about those two guys. Donovan Johnson, you've heard that name, having a good camp and providing tremendous leadership. Lynn Weichel, LJ, been phenomenal for us on special teams, has flashed a few times over the last couple of years, but he's playing at a much more consistent level, day in and day out, really showing some great maturity. So really excited about those guys. And then Jordan Johnson's has made some really big plays. Anchor Bone a couple of years ago. I go back to Mines, had some big catches in that fourth quarter comeback. But again, the consistency, right, and just looking for that consistency. And so like where he's playing, and then Alex McLean, got the whole McLean family here, but Alex McLean is another guy that, kind of been waiting in the wings, and he's had some opportunities and really shown out. Jake Vermoss, local guy, redshirt freshman that had another, I think every third day we call it, Vermossed, right? He got mossed, right? Well, Vermossed, and he had another one of those today. Tremendous body control and catch. A couple freshmen in the mix. Abe Larner from DeWitt, Amante Cook. So really deep group, extremely talented, skilled, but deep too. And I give those guys a tremendous amount of credit. Like I said, we had these guys that had played so many reps over the last couple of years, and now it's their time, and they've been preparing for it, and they're ready for it. And that says a lot about their maturity and who they are as men and young men. So Coach Olson's done a great job getting those guys ready and fired up to spin that thing around a little bit, right? Obviously we're going to run the ball, and that's who we are, and you got to run the ball at your defense, so make sure that they can eliminate the run. It's West Michigan, right? And we're going to be built to win in November and December, but I think we're finally creating that true balance, right? We're put the stress on the defense where if you want to load that box and bonus that box, it's going over your head.
Yes.
And not just over your head, but make people play 53 and a third, right? And we can stretch people vertically, we can stretch people horizontally, and it's been a long time since we've really been able to threaten people and put the stress on the defense in that way. Being a career offensive line guy, I don't know if I've ever had, a situation where you're not playing against a bonus box, right? The box is loaded, trying to figure out ways to account for him and take care of him, and now you better have two safeties high, right? And maybe I'll put the GLIAC on notice a little bit just right now. You better put two on the roof, because if you don't, that ball's going over your head. So excited about this group.
Yeah, well, that's the wide receivers, and kind of transitioning into the quarterbacks.
The guy getting it to him, right?
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the question. You got a lot of talent, in the wide receivers, talent at quarterbacks, but they haven't worked together a lot. How long does that take to gel?
Well, and part of that is in recruiting too. And it's not just the arm talent, it's the makeup of a quarterback. There's a huge difference between a guy that can throw the football and a quarterback, right? That's a massive, massive difference.
How so?
Quarterback to me, like I heard this said a few years ago, quarterback is more of an office than a position. Right, he's going to be on the billboard. It's the face of the program. Everyone knows. Come Saturday nights in Lubber Stadium, Saturday afternoons, there's 15,000 quarterback coaches. Right, everyone knows.
Oh yeah,
the quarterback. Right, and they're watching him.
Yeah.
So there's a makeup of that guy, and we've got a couple guys, not just one, Andrew Schuster, and we'll talk about him in a second, but we've got a couple guys that understand that role, right, and understand the assignment on that. And that was something right back in January that they got those wide receivers together, and again, blessed be at Grand Valley State, they're throwing in the Kelly. We're not around, they're just throwing.
Yeah.
All winter long, spring after spring, all voluntary summer workouts, and those guys, they're getting together. It's not Coach Shoemaker, it's not Scott Wooster, it's those guys are saying, hey, let's go throw. And so they've sped up that process, right, and they've put in the work. And these guys are absolute gym rats, right? That whole gym rat that just taking shots while they're throwing it. And when they're not throwing it, they're in watching tape, right?
Nice.
They spend more time in the Hosford Football Center than, some of our full-time coaches. It's so understanding that assignment, understanding that part of the position, and Andrew Schuster, Brady Drogosh, and Zach Oleniziak, got a couple young guys now, Ethan Plum and Noah Ory, and just brought a guy in, Brody Butzer, that they all get that. They all understand that part. And Coach Shoemaker's doing just one heck of a job of developing them. And the coolest part about it to me is sitting in a couple of those meetings, they see the game, like Andrew sees the game as Coach Shoemaker sees the game, right? And that's really, really, really powerful, right? That, we'll get to that point where we have a little tempo where you've seen it where he claps and he looks to the sideline. He's not even looking to the sideline, right? He claps and he knows what Coach Shu's going to call, right? And they've got that synergy, they've got that thing early on, right? And a huge part of that's just because of how they approach it and how they work.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch them grow, to develop and show off that talent. As you know, you've got great recruiting classes, and this is what that's for, is when these guys get to the field. That's the wide receivers and quarterbacks. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this. The GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow, live from Snug Harbor here in Grand Haven, continuing after this on the Grand Valley Sports Network. are back one final time. Steve Lloyd-Jones, Scott Wooster with you. And Coach, before we talk about the week that is here leading up toward the game, 10 days, some more good names to mention.
Yeah, no, and going through this, just a couple guys that, you asked about surprises, you asked about those things over the past couple weeks, and I think there's a couple guys that, one, it's an old Bo Schembechler thing. Seniors got to have their best year, and we've got a senior wide receiver that has just been remarkable in camp, and I'm so excited for him. Griffin Shinrock, a guy from right down St. Joseph, but has bought his time, done some special team stuff, and he, day in and day out, making that play, doing the dirty work, and really excited about him. Matt Hans, another guy on the offensive line that had a really good scrimmage today. So it's exciting to see those guys that are by their time and maybe don't get all the press and on the IG reels and everything else, but having some great camps and getting ready to have a great year, and Griff's going to have a great senior year. So a couple of those guys are always near and dear to the heart.
Absolutely. Well, we're midweek this week, a Wednesday. You won't play for 10 days. Just kind of generally walk us through, what does that look like to kick off?
Yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, we'll get out there. It'll be our last true camp practice. The Tier 1 guys, like I said, one's versus the world, but some of our new Blues younger guys didn't get in much today. Tomorrow will be their time to shine. And we got a few more situational things, some special teams to clean up, and then we'll put the ball down, let them have some fun and play some ball. And then Friday we'll do a little bench control, just again continuing to work on all those little situations. Friday afternoon we got some traditions here at Grand Valley State, Laker Pride tradition. Got to see a change, so get our guys with the rest of the student athletes and have a great afternoon as a Laker athletic department, right? Not just football. And then Saturday will be their day off, kind of rest, recharge, there's some college football on, get off your feet. And then Sunday we'll come back. We've got a phenomenal tradition here. Speaking of the Kings coming back, the Silvers coming back, that we have this fish fry. BB, a couple other guys bring in some salmon. They fry it up. We'll announce our captains at that, and so we'll have a bonus practice that Sunday. Start preparing for Lincoln, and then get the alumni together. Announce our captains, have that fish fry, and then we're on. Right, Monday we'll start our typical game week. Player day off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice. Friday bench control, and then 1 p.m. See you at Lubber Stadium.
That's right.
Laker Nation, come on out.
Managing classes, that's another challenge, isn't it, for guys?
No, and that's it's kind of a blessing that our player day off is the first day of classes, so that's a good thing, right? Like, let them get off to a great start as a student. The student-athlete piece, right? The college football student in college come before athlete in football, right? So get off to a great start. Make sure you got that next 50 years set. But yeah. Some external stimuli happening, right? 19,000 undergraduates coming on campus these next couple of days, classes starting, and we built this thing on discipline, and discipline really that self-discipline, right? Mm-hmm. Camp's awesome because you eliminate a lot of those distractions, right? Take, the no cars, everyone's together in the dorm, we're eating together, we're doing all those things together. Well, that's not the real life, right? You got to make those disciplined, above the line decisions. You got to respond to some things, and now we're working towards that now, right? Getting to the 20-hour NCAA week, and you got to be a pro, got to do some things on your own. So
excited the leaders, right? You need the players to step up as leaders.
And the culture piece of it, right? We can really control a lot of things from 8 till noon, but from 12:01 till 7:59 the next day, that's where your leadership, the culture really takes over.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's a lot of fun being able to go around on these touring shows. And this one, our third and final here in Snug Harbor. Our thanks to them for a great time here tonight. Remember, the season opener against Lincoln, 8:30, the end of August, 1 o'clock, the kickoff. That'll do it for us tonight. For Scott Wooster, I'm Steve Lloyd-Jones. Thanks for listening to the GVSU Football Preseason Roadshow right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the GVSU Football 2025